Last night in Washington, something horrific happened. A brutal terrorist shot in cold blood a young, beautiful couple, Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Milgram.
Make sure you watch Netanyahu's response to that horrific anti-Semitic attack in DC, because later on in this video, he goes on the attack at Keir Starmer and makes Keir Starmer look like a complete and utter fool, a Hamas sympathizing idiot. You don't want to miss it.
Yaron had just bought an engagement ring for Sarah. He was planning to give it to her in Jerusalem next week. They were planning to start a new and happy life together. Well, that tragically did not happen. Yaron and Sarah weren't the victims of a random crime. The terrorist who cruelly gunned them down did so for one reason and one reason alone. He wanted to kill Jews.
So sad.
And as he was taken away, he chanted, "Free Palestine." This is exactly the same chant we heard on October 7th. On that day, thousands of terrorists stormed into Israel from Gaza. They beheaded men, they raped women, they burned babies alive, they butchered 1,200 innocent people and took 251 innocent people hostage to the dungeons of Gaza. A short time afterwards, Chancellor Scholz of Germany visited Israel. And after he saw the horrors, he said to me, "These Hamas terrorists are exactly like the Nazis." He was right. And if they could get away with it, these Hamas terrorists would have slaughtered every last Jew on earth.
That's their mission.
For these neo-Nazis,
don't forget it.
Free Palestine is just today's version of Heil Hitler.
It literally is.
They don't want a Palestinian state.
It is chanted all over the streets.
They want to destroy the Jewish state. They want to annihilate the Jewish people who've been in the land of Israel for 3,500 years. I could never understand how this simple truth evades the leaders of France, Britain, Canada, and others.
Wait for this.
They're now proposing to establish a Palestinian state and reward these murderers with the ultimate prize. Well, for 18 years, we had a de facto Palestinian state. It's called Gaza. And what did we get? Peace? No. We got the most savage slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust. You won't be surprised to learn that Hamas thanked President Macron and Prime Ministers Starmer and Carney for demanding that Israel end its war in Gaza immediately.
Wait for it.
Hamas was right to thank them, because by issuing their demand, replete with a threat of sanctions against Israel, not Hamas, these three leaders effectively said they want Hamas to remain in power.
Yep.
They want Israel to stand down and accept that Hamas's army of mass murderers will survive, rebuild, and repeat the October 7th massacre.
It's exactly what will happen.
Again and again, because that's what Hamas has vowed to do. I say to President Macron, Prime Minister Carney, and Prime Minister Starmer, when mass murderers, rapists, baby killers, and kidnappers thank you, you're on the wrong side of justice.
Thank you. That is absolutely correct. Keir Starmer, David Lammy, all, on their high horse, making comments about how Israel must end its war in Gaza. You had David Lammy, call it genocide and whatnot in the House of Commons, okay? You are on the wrong side of history. You are asking for Hamas, these evil terrorists, to stay in Gaza. If you really want to free Palestine, you should be wanting to free the Palestinians from the horrible terrorist regime that they live under. It's pretty brutal.
You're on the wrong side of humanity, and you're on the wrong side of history. Now, these leaders may think that they're advancing peace. They're not. They're emboldening Hamas to continue fighting forever.
Exactly.
And they give them hope to establish a second Palestinian state, from which Hamas will again seek to destroy the Jewish state. And mind you, it's not going to be a state free of Hamas. When you establish a Palestinian state, we've seen it. The radicals take over. Iran sends them in, and they take over. So don't give us this talk. It'll be a peaceful Palestinian state. It won't be. But the hypocrisy doesn't stop there. These and other leaders have bought into Hamas's propaganda that says Israel is starving Palestinian children. And not only is Hamas putting out this lie, a few days ago, a top UN official said that 14,000 Palestinian babies would die in 48 hours. You see, many international institutions are complicit in spreading this lie. The press repeats it, the mob believed it, and a young couple is then brutally gunned down in Washington.
It absolutely is true that the press believes it, because when we had, this story going around over the past week of, this outcry because Israel is blockading trucks into Gaza, I was looking through lots of articles. I was trying to figure out, why exactly are they doing this? Surely they know this is going to give them, a horrid reputation if they refuse to give any food to the Palestinian people. But the explanation that Netanyahu gives here as to why they're doing that and what was agreed, what the alternative solution that they have figured out is to feed the Palestinian people, I didn't see that anywhere in a press article. Why is that? Listen to what he has to say about why exactly that's being done.
So here are the facts. Since October 7th, Israel has sent 92,000 aid trucks into Gaza. That's right, 92,000 aid trucks. That includes 1.8 million tons of aid. 1.8 million tons of aid. More than enough food to feed everyone in Gaza. Yet as we had let the aid come in, Hamas stole it. They took a huge chunk for themselves. The rest they sold at exorbitant prices to the Palestinian population.
This is true. There was a hostage who was recently released who gave his recollection of what was happening in Gaza with these aid trucks, and he said that these trucks would come in and he would see that the Hamas terrorists would, quote, eat like kings, because they would take whatever they want from this relief, and then they would take the stuff and sell it to people at ridiculous prices when it's meant to be given out to the Palestinian people for free. And you think that Israel are the ones that are evil towards the Palestinians? Couldn't be further from the truth. Hamas are the evil ones. If you want to free Palestine, you should be wanting to free them from Hamas.
And then they use the money they stole to recruit new terrorists to continue their war against Israel. Our goal from the start,
well, that system couldn't continue, could it?
Civilians, not to Palestinian terrorists. So we consulted with our American allies. What do we do to prevent Hamas from looting the aid? Well, together we devised a mechanism to achieve this goal. American companies will distribute the food directly to Palestinian families. They'll do so in safe zone secured by our military. And this will allow us to complete our goal of destroying Hamas while enabling aid to reach the civilian population.
There we go.
We'll complete the construction of the first distribution zones in the coming days. Ultimately, we intend to have large safe zones in the south of Gaza. And the Palestinian population will move there for their own safety while we conduct combat in other zones and receive humanitarian aid there without Hamas interference. In the meantime, we authorized letting trucks enter Gaza to provide for immediate needs. Yesterday, I think more than 100 trucks went in. More will come in today.
So there we go, okay? It's not the case that Israel are just starving Palestinians because they hate them and they just want them to starve to death, as seems to be the case if you read the press. They figured out a plan with the US on how to distribute aid in an effective way so that people actually get fed, rather than the Hamas terrorists stealing all of the food, and then if they do get any food, they're having to buy it at ridiculous prices off of the terrorists. This sounds like a far better solution to me, like a far more compassionate solution for the Palestinian people, and one that is more likely to help eradicate Hamas rather than embolden them and give them more resources and make this war trying to get rid of Hamas drag on longer, right? So this makes sense to me, but you just don't see it in the press anywhere. Yet, as a consequence of these lies that have been peddled about what is happening with the aid and suggesting that Israel is just starving Palestinians for the sake of it, for the fun of it, right? We have now had, as was mentioned in this video, we've had our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, he's an embarrassment to this country. We've had Macron, we've had Carney, we've had David Lammy making a stupid speech in the House of Commons, painting Israel as the evil ones here. And, I'm worried that, Israel's it's gonna lose its support from countries like ours because of this narrative that they have been sold and are eating up, that Israel are the ones in the wrong here and that they should just let Hamas run free and go on to commit more October 7th, go on to run their regime in the most horrific and brutal way. I think that Netanyahu made an absolute fool of Keir Starmer in this response to that horrific DC attack. And Keir Starmer should be pretty embarrassed. I don't think he's doing well at all when it comes to foreign affairs. Not with regards to this on Israel, and definitely not with regards to Chagos. I mean, what the hell is going on there? We've just had this Chagos deal signed, which just is beyond belief. The Chagossians are absolutely furious. There was one, you'll see it in the last video I posted on this channel, go check it out if you hadn't, where we've got a Chagossian, two Chagossians on GB News on the brink of tears, saying, "I'd rather die than have my homeland sold away to Mauritius." Okay, they are furious, but Keir Starmer hasn't listened to them. He hasn't met with them. The only people he's listened to is his lawyer mates in the ICJ. Okay, Keir, and you know, these international lawyer mates of his, these are the same people who are saying Benjamin Netanyahu needs to be arrested for war crimes. No calls to arrest Hamas for war, Hamas leaders for war crimes, just Israel, just Netanyahu, okay? These people live in absolute delusion. David Lammy thinks that this Chagos deal is amazing because he thinks it's decolonizing the Chagos Islands. Like, hello, if you want to call it colonialism, you're basically handing it over to a different colonizer because Mauritius never owned the place in the first place. It is beyond belief. I am very embarrassed of Keir Starmer. I've been proud of this country in the past for standing by Israel, but it seems like that support is coming to an end and we may see Hamas emboldened. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to Reasoned if you've not already so you don't miss out on any more videos. See you next time.